All right, I'd just first like to thank Commissioner Gill and Travis Llewellyn for the entire Sun Belt Conference for putting on another first-class event. This is one of these things that shows just what type of conference this is. It's a great event here. Also like to thank Dr. Hemphill, our president, Dr. Seelig, our athletic director, and all of Monarch Nation for their continued support. Without them, it's hard to do what we need to do to give these guys a chance to be successful. So thank you for them. I'll keep it brief as I always do, but really excited about this season. We get an opportunity to play two A4 teams, one of which was a college football playoff participant last year. So that's an exciting opportunity for our players. We also get 3 in-state opponents. That's something I think is unique to state of Virginia, that we get to play so many in-state opponents like that. So that's a great opportunity for us too. We also get an awesome chance Thursday night to showcase Old Dominion to the rest of the nation, show our program to the rest of the nation. That's an opportunity that the Sun Belt Conference affords to us, and something that we take great pride in. Really proud of the continuity we have on our staff. Return all of our coaches except for one. We just have one new coach, Dwight Wilson, who's been a great addition. But to have our offensive coordinator back, our defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, strength coach, trainer is awesome, and it really helps out in today's age of being able to get to all the players on the same page. It's a little humbling that I am now the longest tenured coach in the Sun Belt. I went from being a first-time coach, which feels like about a month ago, to now going into my 6th year, 5th season, which is pretty remarkable. So really appreciate that, and it's been awesome to be able to work with these guys. Particularly a guy like Chris, who's been here, every game that I've ever coached. So which is an awesome deal. We continue to have academic success. Just set our program record with a 3.19 GPA last semester. 8 of our last 11 semesters have been over a 3.0. We had 36 players on the dean's list. And I think that just speaks a lot to, Sarah Walker and Caitlin, what they do in our academic staff, but also what our coaches do and show that they care and actually keep this thing of college football about what it's supposed to be in education, but also give these guys, multiple avenues for their future. So at this time, I'll open it up to questions and kind of go from there.
We'll now open the floor for questions. Once again, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll have a microphone brought to you. For those of you joining us on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat and we'll read them here in the main room.
Sparty Laughlin, KTSW, San Marcos. Coach, this question is for you. So last year, y'all finished 2-4 in home games, under 500. What do you think y'all can do to be better at home and protect your home field this season?
I think, obviously we had great fan support. We set a record for attendance, and so our fan support was there, and particularly our student section. I think our student section was unbelievable last year, something that I really wanted to see happen for a while, and the students came out in full force, stayed the whole games. It was an awesome deal. Really appreciate them for that. For us, I think it's just like anything else. I think we got to protect the football. We have to take away the football, and then for us, we need to play better. Probably in the third quarter is one of the areas where we've got to make some huge improvements right there. But it was a different story in each of the games. There wasn't one theme. If there was one theme, I would have got it corrected. I assure you that. So it's a little bit more about making sure that we are detail oriented in each and every game in order to close that gap.
Question for both the players here. You had 5 one-score games that went the other way last year. What's kind of been the mindset going into the offseason, and how have you guys kind of prepared to, kind of finish out the game?
Just like Coach said, we need to play a 4-quarter game. We sometimes coming out of halftime, we start a little slow, and I think if we play a little faster out of halftime, I think we can break those down a little bit.
And also, we've been emphasizing finishing our work in the off season, especially like conditioning runs and things of that nature. We've been also focusing on attacking 100%, just like we do in the first, just in the same work in the last.
Coach, Emmanuel Pepper, Sun Belt Conference. Talk about Koa. He stepped into a larger role last year, and of course, he's one of your 4 guys that was honored this season as a preseason All-Conference. Just talk about kind of his progression and what you've seen him work on this offseason.
I mean, Ko is one of those people that makes you feel bad about yourself because he's such a great person. You know what I mean? You know you're never going to live up to that standard. So, I mean, he's a tremendous person. His family is great. His brother Seth's on our team too. Great football player. One of the quietest, most humble people you're ever going to meet off the field, but on the field, I mean, he's an absolute warrior. I mean, he's loud and boisterous and all those sort of things, which is awesome to see that change and that switch. He's one of those players who has that type of switch. So we're lucky to have him. He's a tremendous leader, and I'm looking forward to watching him make another great impact this year.
Zoom question for Coach. Coach, can you talk about your quarterback room with the competition you have between Joseph and Hennikel?
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed. We're the only team that has two quarterbacks coming back who are both Sun Belt Players of the Week. So that's an incredible blessing. Those two guys compete all the time. Obviously, Colton has a ton of he has a lot more experience than Quinn does. He was able to play in quite a few games. He's taken the majority of our one reps and things like that. And I've really seen growth in him both as a player but also as a leader. Quinn. I've seen major growth in him as with his confidence in the offense and also, just his ability to prepare. You're a true freshman. You're trying to drink through a fire hose at times, and he was able to really slow things down in the spring. And then this summer I've seen huge confidence in him and what he's been able to do out there. So we're blessed. And we have some other guys on that thing, and Ryan Huff and Holden, who we know we have confidence in. And so I think our team is one of those things where, they know whoever's behind center, they gives them a chance to win the game.
Harry Minium from ODU Sports. You guys, the expectations are higher this year in part because you managed to hold on to a lot of guys. They didn't enter the transfer portal. Jason Henderson, Colton Joseph, Zach, and Chris, they all could have gone into the portal, and they all stayed. Why were you so successful this year, and how much does that help you?
Well, I think it's one thing. Obviously, we had a great commitment from President Hemphill, Dr. Seelig, and our donor base in order to help our NIL and revenue sharing. I think that was something that we were able to do, just give us the opportunity to compete and those sort of things. But I also think that we just, we have great relationships with our players, and we show our players that they're going to develop here. Our players, enjoy being around our coaches. They enjoy being around each other, and I think that was a huge part of it. And I think ultimately, I tell everybody it's you're still going to lose some players. That's just the way college football is nowadays. But we've got to celebrate the ones who stay and the ones who decide to represent Old Dominion in the Sun Belt Conference in a way that makes everybody proud. And I've got two guys right here who have decided to do that, and I'm excited about that. But I mean, there's countless other guys on our team that have had opportunities, as I know each of the other 13 teams does too.
We got a Zoom question from David Hall with the Virginian Pilot, and for Coach and for our student athletes. He says, I think I know the answer, but your thoughts on being picked fifth in the East?
Well, my annual shout out to David for sending something in when I get to see him a week from now face to face. But, I appreciate, obviously preseason polls, in my opinion, are the silliest thing that we do in all of college sports and those sort of things. I especially think they're silly now because no one knows these players and no one knows these teams and no one has seen these people and how they work with each other and things like that. For us, it's about preparation in the off-season, preparation throughout the week, and the performance on game day. That's what it's about. It's not about anything else. It never will be. I understand we have to have preseason polls in order to make sure that continue to have content for the internet and things like that. But ultimately, I am in a great belief that we shouldn't have any polls until week about 4 or 5, and then that would solve a lot of this.
Question for both the players here. I think an interesting part of the transfer portal is, somewhat the psychological aspect of friendships and your teammates and watching people. How much does it mean for you guys both individually to have those guys returning and really you get to start to build that friendship?
I mean, for the O-line, we have 4 of our starting O-linemen are returning O-linemen. We have Steph, Sky, and Wu all started last year, and then this helps build our O-line trust in each other. I mean, we played next to each other basically all games last year. We're going to play against each other all games this year. That's just going to help us build as an O-line.
To be honest, it feels great. You know, I've been on both sides. Like previous years, a lot of guys left, especially on last year. A lot of my guys in my position group left. But it feels great to have some guys that, that stay, to back me up behind me and things of that nature.
Harry Minningham again. I know the answer to this question, just like David Hall knew the answer, but expectations are higher this year in the preseason. The preseason media is all saying, you guys have finished third in the East, go to a bowl, maybe win the Sun Belt Championship. I assume that has not changed your 1-0 philosophy at all.
No, it has not. I mean, for me, I appreciate everything that you guys in the media do as your job, and it really does make college football great. The reality of it is it's not going to change how I approach every day. It's not going to change how our team's going to approach every day. It's not going to change about the expectations I have for my team each and every year. We need to eliminate as much of the outside noise as humanly possible, get together and go. I'm not one of those guys who thinks that the players never see that, because they do. I am not on social media anymore, so I really don't see it. Most of this stuff is usually news to me. But our players, I mean, that's their life. They're going to see it. They're bombarded with it all the time. So having the 1-0 mentality allows them to kind of be able to put some of this stuff aside and focus on what's really important, and that's about preparation each and every day.
Sparty Laughlin, KTSW, San Marcos. This question is for the players. So you guys were on a 3-game losing streak before, ended up beating Arkansas State in Jonesboro 40-32 to close out the season. Does that win kind of give y'all a little bit of confidence knowing that y'all didn't go into the offseason with a 4-game losing streak and kind of get a fresh start going into next season?
I mean, yeah, that game was a lot of things to us. I mean, going into that week, we had a lot of people who just didn't want to be on the team anymore, who just stepped aside. And having the players that were there and with that win, I think we know who wants to be here and who wants to win with us. And coming this year, I think knowing that helps us just grow as a team.
After that closer, we noticed a lot of things about the team, especially what we can be. And I feel like it brought the team closer because we see the guys who want to be here and want to go hard.
Coach, Tyler Kidner from the Herald-Dispatch in Huntington. You mentioned being the longest tenured coach in the Sun Belt and the division, obviously a couple of new first-year head coaches. I guess if you don't mind me asking, what the early stages of your time at ODU were like and the challenges of that first year and how it's, progressed for you in your time there.
Well, I mean, I assume you're asking because of Coach Gibson. Yeah, pretty quick like that. I think that one of those things that, particularly for a first-year head coach like Coach Gibson, you can be around a lot of great people, and they can prepare you, as Coach Franklin did for me, to be a head coach and give me opportunities like that. But there's still some things you just don't know, and you can't until you experience it. And there's just going to be little things that happen on a day-to-day schedule, within a practice schedule, within a week schedule, that you're just not able to anticipate. Those things still happen as you become a little bit more experienced, but you're just able to adjust a little bit faster, and you don't second-guess yourself maybe just because you have more experience, just like anybody else in their job. So I think it's just one of those things that you learn on a daily basis, and you become more and more comfortable. But ultimately, I don't care if you're a first-year head coach, a 6-year head coach, or a 26-year head coach. You've got to trust yourself, you've got to trust your players, and you've got to trust your coaches. And that's really been the theme for us all offseason is conviction. I want us to work hard and do those sort of things and work with each other so that we're building belief and trust in each other so that we can have conviction on each and every play. And that's what you're trying to do all the time. And the experience helps with that. But there's always going to be new things that pop up, particularly in this age where the rules change every year, right? So, I mean, we're all dealing with rule changes each and every year, and we all have the exact amount of same experiences on that.
And then, Coach, just kind of building off that, the convictions and then, what your players said, going out with that win at Arkansas State, did that adjust anything from a coach mindset, or were you able to really build on that in the offseason?
No, I mean, to me, it didn't. What it did is it showed that, the 1-0 mindset that we have does work, and it was more about winning that game, that winning is important. And for me, that's the most important thing, is finding a way to give these guys the best chance to win each and every week. And I think our preparation was really, really intense that week. There were some distractions, as Zach alluded to. But, we were able to get through those things and that sort of thing. And I think it also showed a lot of depth. We had a lot of guys who were maybe getting their first start in that game or second start in that game, and they were able to play really well for us, and we're going to be able to build on that experience throughout this year.
A Zoom question for Coach. One publication has called your group at the linebacker group, the most improved linebacker core in the country. You've got 7 starters back on defense. What's your thoughts on that group? And for Chris, how much confidence does it give you having that group right behind you?
Well, I would say, Coach Seiler and our defensive staff do a great job. And, we've had to replace some players in the secondary each and every year. Our Remington Rebstock and those guys have done a great job of replacing those guys and getting those guys ready to play. At the linebacker position, we have 4 guys who really could be considered returning starters when you include, Jaleel Colbreth, Koa, Jason, and then Mario Thompson. And then we have other guys like Jeremy Mack who have played a ton of football for us. And so, I think it's a position that we have a lot of depth at. Those guys aren't successful without the defensive line, and our defensive line is a group that I love the way to watch them work. They work really, really hard. Coach Vic does an unbelievable job of getting those guys prepared. And so, I have a lot of confidence in our defensive group and our defensive coaches. Chris, go ahead.
It feels good to have familiar faces and voices behind me lead me in the right direction. Having that on the field is everything. It makes you play faster without second-guessing anything. All I ask is that those guys lead me in the right direction, cause chaos, man.
If no other questions in the room, Coach, Zach, and Chris will be available for one-on-ones when they come off the stage. Coach, guys, we appreciate it. Good luck to you this season.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.